Hey, Mike, happy holidays. What is one lesson you learned from other powerlifters, and how did it affect your results at that time? What exercise do you recommend for building big and strong forearm? I got 3 double cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a Diet Coke, and ate it. And then the next day I had some cheesecake, and then the next day I had some just stuff that normally wouldn't be on my diet. And then what I noticed, I was looking at my body, I'm like, damn, I look good. Thanks for answering. I'm thinking of including behind the back presses in my routine.
Yeah, just start like Clark said. Start slow.
Start easy. It's mobility is all it is, man.
Really
if you're lacking in mobility, then there's no reason that you should put a load on and challenge that lack of mobility. But you can increase your mobility because your human body wants to be more flexible. Your human body wants. Yeah, that's why Clark still has a chip on his shoulder. Yep, exactly, Alexander. Guys like this. Talking trash about me, making me feel small.
At least I'm not upset about syrup. Go for it.
Syrup.
Yeah, but they wanted to get rid of syrup.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Read it.
Where we at? I am buying some more Titan Crew apparel today. I'm proud to have a Titan Crew jersey at the gym. Look what I'm wearing.
Woo-wee. We like the jerseys.
I wore the baseball tee the other day, and in the dark and then the light gray makes your shoulders look huge.
It looks huge. You're learning my tricks.
Yeah, Anita's like, oh my God, you look so good in that shirt.
Take that shirt off.
Yeah. MichaelHearnLifestyle.com.
Jeez.
Go ahead and jump in there. Buy you some shirts. Tell them Clark sent you. I get a commission. I get an affiliate commission.
Go for it. Read that.
Hey, Mike, what exercise do you recommend for building big and strong forearm? Fat Chang wants to know.
You can do wrist curls. Wrist curls are great. My recommendation is I wouldn't, unless there's something going on, I wouldn't really train the forearms too much.
I got paid $700 one time for my forearm. I had to reach over a wall, and the only thing was in the shot was my forearm. $700.
That's seg wages. That's good money.
Yeah, that was in the 90s too. Forearm model. Yeah, and I found the thing the other day. It was for just one of those roll-up deals like that.
Remember, I got one of those.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, that's what it was for. Mike, can you do a double bicep?
I sure can.
Hey, Mike, happy holidays. What is one lesson you learned from other powerlifters, and how did it affect your results at that time? That's a good question there.
Yeah. I learned from powerlifters during my era of lifting and powerlifting was that I needed to incorporate nutrition, because that's what I saw the flaw. The flaw was that powerlifters, especially in my era, was just really a calorie intake with lifting heavy weights. So it was the pizza, it was the pasta. It wasn't really a bodybuilding diet. And I think that's what helped me. I know it helped me to incorporate my bodybuilding into powerlifting and always stay on a good nutrition plan. And I know that we've been talking about this a lot. Here's something that I know that you will fully understand. When you run away from foods and then you go back to something, how does your body react?
So the other day I walked into my buddy's liquor store, and he said, damn, you look really big today. And I said, it's because I just started eating whatever I wanted. It was right after I went through that situation with my friend, and I was just like, you know what? I was driving home. I just had this traumatic experience. I got 3 double cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a Diet Coke, and ate it. And then the next day I had some cheesecake. And then the next day I had some just stuff that normally wouldn't be on my diet. And then what I noticed, I was looking at my body. I'm like, damn, I look good.
And I don't recommend what he's telling you is going to be different for what happens to you than to him.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You're in such a deficit all the time.
All the time.
Not only because you don't eat tons and tons of meals all day, and also you're very, 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 very active.
Yes.
So you're in a deficit. And so what he just did is kind of filling out, replenishing his body. And so he could eat anything. Mona does the same thing. Pizza 4 days in a row. Why do you look better? because they were in a deficit.
Yeah.
Now, for you guys out there, unless you're in a deficit and look good, not just a deficit and you're still sloppy, but if you're in a deficit and you look good, then you can fill. So my point is this, that when I go back to pita bread or to pasta, my body instantly goes, wow, you've been away from this a while. I'm not going to be able to utilize this as well as your rice or something else, or cream of rice or oatmeal. And so what I try to do is I actually try to sit into that and go, okay, my body's not utilizing it as well as it can. I'm going to stay there until it does, until it can use the breads, until it can use the pita bread, the pastas, and all that kind of, all those kind of foods that a lot of people stay away from because they feel like, oh no, it's bad for your body. Well, it's not bad for your body. Your body's just not used to it.
Yeah.
And I think those are great things. And I go back to this conversation that Robbie had the other day. Different enzymes do different things. Your body utilizes different foods in different ways. And I think that was a great thing that Robbie kind of made a point. You've got to have variety. And so your body continues to go, okay, this is what this is. This is this. And it keeps working well. And the reason why I say it is because it's like us talking about behind the neck press. Because we have the range of motion, we can still do it. But if you run away from all foods and all this stuff and then cause your own body to go, oh, I'm allergic to it. Well, you're not allergic to it. Your body's just not used to it.
Yeah. Your body adapts to everything, right? And it wants to adapt. It's like the Weider confusion principle. That applies to food as well. That's basically what he was just saying. So if you eat those carbohydrates and those different types of nutrients that your body might not be used to initially, eventually it's going to adapt to it. It doesn't mean it's going to get fat. It doesn't mean it's going to get worse. It just means it's adapted to it. It's figuring out how to utilize that to the best of its ability, you know, for that period of time, because it realizes it's going to change.
It's like Mona. Nobody eats more croissants and bagels and bread than Mona.
It's because she's European.
Yeah. And her body just utilizes it better than I can even utilize rice.
Yeah, because that's what, you know, her genetic predisposition is to be efficient with that sort of stuff, when somebody from a different ethnic background might not have the same ability in their body. So Clark, shake off the haters. Yeah, I just like to dog those guys out every once in a while.
We got to have the haters, guys. Let us have our fun too.
Yeah, I love them. I love them.
This guy on IG wants to know the best time to take Dissolve.
What's that?
Ooh, Dissolve, 15, 20 minutes before your first meal.
Is that a new supplement in your line?
Yeah, it's my fat burner.
Oh.
I take that, and then again, I take it actually in the afternoon, probably around 1 or 2 o'clock, depending on if you go to bed at 9 or 10. But don't take it after 3 o'clock.
Has he got stimulants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it keeps that body fired up.
I'm gonna have to get some of that and take it home.
It took over first place. They're
Nice.
loving it.
Oh.
Yeah, it keeps the energy.
Can being in deficit all the time like Clark be detrimental? Yes.
100%.
Does Clark regularly have high calorie days to recover from being in the deficit all the time? Not necessarily, but I'm going to start doing more, because here's the reality. I said it earlier. I've been in kind of a maintenance mode, honestly, with my training, and Mike had kind of referred to that earlier. And I admit it. I was on cruise control. I never really pushed myself too hard, because I factor in all of the different things that I do. Like, I'm running around playing football. I'm doing all sorts of different stuff to collectively add to me just being a functional human being. But now I'm shifting my focus, and I do want to build muscle. I want to get bigger. I want to look more bodybuilder-ish, if you will, because I realize at the
You need
age
the
that I'm
football
at,
neck back?
Yeah, I
football
wanna
neck. So we just sit here like this. What's up, man? You can't even hit my head up. My head move. Hey, I do need to say this, because I know that you just said Clark and using him as a reference. Please don't. Anybody on here, do not use Clark as a reference because he's in a deficit and Clark can do it. That means I can do it. Clark's been training for 50 years. So stop. Do not go, hey, because Clark's been in a deficit for the last 15 years, I can do it. No, he's a different animal. It's like Mona. She's in a surplus and still walking around ripped. It's just, they're different animals. Please do not take them and make them the stable, the main character in your story. It doesn't work that way.